economic target. China sets 5% economic growth target for 2024 at the annual Two Sessions meeting in Beijing, the same level as the previous year. In a special series of China Econ Watch, we're diving into the captivating realm of artificial intelligence centered on an AI island in Shanghai. Healthy momentum. China's services sector maintained its growth for the 14th consecutive month in February, though at a slower pace. From CGTN headquarters here in Beijing, this is Global Business. I'm Xiao Vandenberg. China's political season is underway with the National People's Congress beginning its annual session on Tuesday. The annual session of the 14th NPC has opened in Beijing. Deputies have gathered at the Great Hall of the People to review the government work report and set agendas for the coming year. During the opening, Premier Li Qiang delivered the government work report. He summarized the achievements of 2023, highlighting China's 5.2% GDP growth and over 6% increase in per capita disposable income. Additionally, he set targets for this year's development. Premier Li also highlighted the need to intensify macroeconomic regulation. He called for strengthening the proactive fiscal policy, focusing on enhancing quality and efficiency, and reinforcing consistency in macro policies. He outlined several key tasks for this year, including accelerating the development of new quality productive forces while emphasizing industrial upgrading and high-quality development.
A comprehensive analysis and assessment shows that China's development environment this year will continue to feature both strategic opportunities and challenges, with favorable conditions outweighing unfavorable ones. The main targets for development this year are projected as follows: GDP growth of around 5%, over 12 million new urban jobs, surveyed urban unemployment rate of around 5.5%, CPI increase of around 3%. We will intensify efforts to attract foreign investment. We will further shorten the negative list for foreign investment. All markets access restrictions on foreign investment in manufacturing will be abolished, and market access restrictions in services sectors such as telecommunications and healthcare will be reduced.
The government work report also outlined 10 major tasks for the year. The report pledges that efforts will be undertaken to vigorously accelerate the development of new quality productive forces. China will deeply implement the strategy of revitalizing the country through science and education and expand domestic demand. The country will also unswervingly deepen reforms and develop endogenous driving forces and continue pursuing higher standard opening up to promote mutual benefit and win-win outcomes. The report also said China will ensure both development and security. It urges to persistently grasp the work of agriculture, rural areas, and farmers, and solidly promote urban-rural integration and regional coordinated development. China will also strengthen the construction of ecological civilization and effectively ensure and improve people's livelihood. President Xi Jinping on Tuesday took part in a deliberation with deputies from the Jiangsu Province delegation at the second session of the 14th National People's Congress. Xi Jinping emphasized that at the meeting, the importance of pursuing high-quality development and developing new quality productive forces. He urged efforts to be made in enhancing innovation, cultivating emerging industries, advancing the development of future industries, and improving the modern industrial chain. He also stressed that developing new quality productive forces should not come at the expense of traditional industries. He called on all regions, based on their own conditions and resources, to facilitate the modernization of traditional industries by using new technologies and to promote high-end, intelligent, and green industrial development. Earlier today, the Chinese Minister of Science and Technology and the party's secretary of the State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission, the country's oversight body for state assets, held a press conference to provide insights into what to expect from China's technological innovation in the future.
科技创新啊，不仅提升了我们国家传统产业的竞争力。
Technological innovation is a key factor driving the development of new quality productive forces, in addition to enhancing the competitiveness of traditional industries. China's expenditures on research and development exceeded 3.3 trillion yuan last year, marking an increase of 8.1% from the previous year. Of particular interest to many is the spending allocated to basic research, which amounted to over 220 billion yuan, with an annual growth rate of 9.3%.
大量的大科学工程，大的一些成果。
Central enterprises have undertaken numerous science projects that demand substantial investments. Yet it's crucial to acknowledge that China still trails in the development of certain core technologies. We believe that investment in application-related researches remains insufficient despite reaching 60 billion yuan in the past year. Therefore, we urge central enterprises to invest more and play an active role in integrating into the global innovation network.
Amid the evolving landscape of e-commerce, there is a growing focus on the regulation of live streaming. At the ongoing two sessions, our reporter Zhu Zhu spoke with National People's Congress Deputy Dong Mingzhu, who serves as the president of Agree, a prominent Chinese appliance manufacturer. Dong emphasized the crucial role of live e-commerce platforms as the primary accountable entities, asserting their responsibility to take the lead in supervising live streaming merchants.
You started e-commerce live streaming back in April 2020, and it has almost been 4 years since then. So in this field, have you noticed any areas that still need to be improved?
我们不能顾此失彼。
Developing a business is not solely about individual success, but also about benefiting everyone in the industry. The most challenging aspect involves addressing the proliferation of cheap, low-quality products online that mislead customers with their attractive prices. Instead of prioritizing quick profit, companies should concentrate on establishing a lasting brand. It is crucial to avoid deceiving customers and prioritize quality.
先说话。
How do you see the current regulatory framework for e-commerce live streaming? Is it good enough? Do you have any suggestions to further enhance it?
这个机制就是平台提供平台的要负法律责任。
I believe that e-commerce platforms should bear legal responsibility for supervision and be held accountable for the sale of low-quality product. Merely setting up a platform and neglecting the activities transpiring on it is unacceptable. Numerous sellers engage in short-term business ventures and then vanish, leaving behind a trail of substandard products. With the current surge in online orders for takeaway meals and various other items, ensuring the safety and quality of delivered goods poses new challenges. Additionally, it is essential to address the issue of online sellers evading tax obligations due to inadequate monitoring of their sales. Unlike offline sales, where the origin of low-quality product can be easily traced, the lack of oversight in online sales exacerbates this problem.
You previously said that successful manufacturing companies should integrate online and on-site operations together. So to help these offline retailers better survive with the help of internet platforms, what suggestions do you have?
严格规范市场秩序，这就是政府要去做的。
It's imperative for the government to implement strict regulations to maintain market order. This involves cracking down on counterfeit product, resisting low-quality goods, and standardizing business practices. It's important to consider the impact on the thousands of offline stores and the families behind them when businesses transition primarily to online platforms. A win-win mindset is essential to facilitate collective growth and prevent increased unemployment. business should prioritize ensuring product quality and compliance with regulations. Additionally, it is crucial to train distributors to adopt a more versatile approach, incorporating services such as home delivery and installation into the online shopping experience.
线上销售、线下服务。
According to a government work report, China is targeting an economic growth rate of approximately 5% in 2024. Leading economists shared their perspectives on this newly established growth target. The annual session of the 14th National People's Congress has garnered global attention. The Chinese government has vowed to intensify efforts to attract and utilize more foreign investment, emphasizing the importance of expanding market access and continuing to open up the modern services sector. Pablo Gutierrez joins us from Budapest with more on how the Chinese government's measures will impact European firms' investment in China. Hi there, Pablo. So what's the sentiment on the ground where you are?
Well, hello there. There are some signs that European industry continues to place its trust in the Chinese economy and further this relationship that you are talking about. If we look at Germany, for instance, last year, the amount of money that German firms invested in China reached a $13 billion record. Now, industry insiders, analysts say that, this is a positive sign. Why? Well, because Germany is Europe's largest economy. So by its industry continuing to deposit its trust in China's economy, this is seen as a favorable, a positive sign. But EU regulators are looking at this, they're paying attention, and there is a plan to establish a mechanism that would filter European companies' investment into China, something similar to what the United States did. Now, there's been some pushback by some EU member states who want a little bit more autonomy. They don't want all of these restrictions, and analysts say that partly due to the restrictions imposed by the U.S. government, global trade, global FDI figures into China have decreased. Now, let's look at the overall trade activity between the EU and China. It's down on both sides. The amount of imports from China into the EU fell last year by 13%. And the amount of exports from the EU into China also fell by 3%. But there are positive signs in the horizon. And one of those signs has to deal with China's clean energy transition. Let's look at France. Électricité de France, which is the power utility company owned by the French government, wants to further its investment in China. They say that the Chinese government has taken positive steps and positive regulations, and they want to continue to play ball in the Chinese economy. Now, there are also two other important signs that we need to look at this. One was a recent report by the German Chamber of Commerce in China. It says that 72% of German companies operating in China want to invest more in the Chinese market. And the other report, which is really interesting, and this is by Germany's Bundesbank, it says that the made in China profits made by these German companies is being reinvested in the Chinese market, and that analysts say is a positive sign because it will contribute to the overall economy of the country.
All right, thank you so much for that. A great report, Pablo Gutierrez, for us in Budapest. Late last year, German banking giant Deutsche Bank issued a second round of panda bonds, which are bonds denominated in China's currency, the RMB, but issued by an organization outside of China. This development coincides with efforts by Berlin and Beijing to expand trade beyond traditional manufacturing. Our correspondent Peter Oliver brings us the report.
Frankfurt is the beating financial heart of Germany and home to one of the world's biggest banks. In December, Deutsche Bank announced they'd raised just over $140 million through a second issue of panda bonds on the Chinese market. The decision was made following a successful first round. The second issuance of our own panda bond underscores our confidence in China's growth potential and our strong commitment to continuously developing our business here. The decision to issue these bonds came after the third high-level financial dialogue between Berlin and Beijing, in which agreements were put in place that would give Germany's financial big players much easier access to China's financial markets. China is Germany's biggest trading partner, with business between the two coming in at around $272 billion in 2023. While manufacturing will continue to play a big role, expect financial services to start to take a larger part in the relationship.
This is the practical outcome of high-level meetings from last year, when the ministers of finance of Germany and China met and sent signals that there will be opportunities for not only financial institutions in Europe and Germany in particular to place so-called panda bonds in the Chinese market, but also for companies that are massively invested, for example, Mercedes. And this is just another step in that direction.
Panda bonds are one way for foreign financial institutions to play a part in China's currency markets. In 2023, banks issued bonds worth around $20 billion, a 60% increase from the previous year. Peter Oliver, CGTN, Berlin.
Now, welcome to our special series of China Econ Watch. Today, we're diving into the captivating realm of artificial intelligence centered on an AI island in Shanghai. Let's follow our reporter Zhu Zhu to see how this island has become a hub for advancing China's AI sector.
Hello to the viewers of CGTN.
Wow, so I see a huge organ right here.
So you can try to grab it, move it.
All of these technologies can be found on an artificial island in Shanghai called Zhangjiang AI Island. It covers an area equivalent to over 9 soccer fields. There are over 100 AI companies and more than 7,000 researchers here.
When you walk around here, you can see many big-name companies such as Alibaba,
Microsoft, IBM, and many high-tech startups.
Why are they gathered here? And how can they collaborate to advance China's AI market? Well, let's go check out the companies here to find out the reasons. Hello, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too. Welcome to the Microsoft
Hello.
Labs.
Nice to meet you too.
We got another guest here. Who's speaking there?
That's our virtual assistant.
Wow, so this is our guest.
Yes, this is purely virtual. It is a combination of several technologies: text-to-speech, speech-to-text, text generation, and the visualization.
That was the case utilizing generative AI, a form of artificial intelligence capable of generating new content by learning from existing data or following instructions.
请把8号试管放到架子上。
Now this technology is being used in industries along with mixed reality.
Wow, I can literally see a virtual twin of that object.
Because this is mixed reality glasses, so you see the physical world and you see the virtual world.
Such technologies can also be used in the medical field.
Wow, so I see a huge organ right here.
So you can try to grab it, move it. It's not just one organ that you can see. You can see the whole body, the nerve system, the blood system. It depends on what your point of interest is.
This is really amazing. And I'm also wondering, how will technologies like these benefit other high-tech companies in the AI island?
You know, lab program it's free of charge, and it's really actually engineering to help them quickly learn technology, apply and validate how good it matches their purpose. Companies are pivoting their ideas, sometimes really quick because they learn something.
Pan Intelligence is among the high-tech startups that have benefited from such workshops.
3 years ago, our first project involved installing AI monitoring equipment in building on Zhangjiang AI Island. It tracks electricity usage, external weather conditions, and user satisfaction to calculate carbon emissions and how to reduce them. Today, we are already supplying AI technologies to international giants like Merck.
Through visits to these tech giants and startups here, I found that their innovative model for close collaboration have drawn them here. Big companies provide technical guidance to smaller companies, small companies take on orders from those large companies, and the island itself provides services and platforms for them to boost innovation. On the other hand, large companies and the island also work together to incubate more high-tech startups. They have formed a loop for cooperation. This industry cluster cooperation model has largely boosted the development of Shanghai's AI sector. Since the city began developing its AI industry, the number of its large-scale AI companies has doubled in the last 5 years, and their output value has tripled. By next year, Shanghai aims to create over 10 AI industry clusters. These clusters will focus on specialized fields, each valued at over 10 billion yuan, or about $140 million, to further accelerate the advancement of next-generation AI. Zhu, CGTN, Shanghai.
The 14th National People's Congress will hold a press conference tomorrow afternoon. Key officials from the National Development and Reform Commission, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Commerce, the People's Bank of China, and the China Securities Regulatory Commission will address queries from both Chinese and foreign journalists. The conference aims to provide insights on significant topics, including China's reform initiatives, financial planning, commerce and trade, as well as developments in the equity market, to the media and the public. You're watching Global Business. We'll be back after a short break.
Despite China's prominence and growth in international affairs, it remains a mystery to many Americans.
Meanwhile, China's growing influence is evident in our evolving cityscapes and Africa's economy.
This is why traveling to China and reporting on its people and its power is so crucial.
Delegates from across China will be gathering in Beijing for the 2 sessions,
where they will set policies and enact reforms that have global ramifications.
Join us as we embark on this journey to understand China and gain a deeper understanding of our interconnected world.
China's service sector sustained its growth for the 14th consecutive month in February, though at a slower pace. The latest Caixin Service Purchasing Managers Index came in at 52.5, reflecting the softened growth momentum primarily attributed to moderating business confidence. Firms have initiated staff reductions for the first time since last November. Despite these challenges, there was a positive development as foreign demand experienced the most significant increase since June last year, with new orders from overseas markets on the rise. Now, for more discussions on China's services sector, we're joined by Shi Fanqi, Assistant Professor at the School of Economics at Peking University. Professor Shi, good to see you. So how can the Caixin Services PMI data for February be interpreted, and what insights can be drawn regarding China's economic health and also the performance of different sectors?
Thank you very much for the invitation. So for the interpretation, I would like to compare the data with the months immediately before this February, and also with the data of last year, and probably also with the pre-pandemic level. So we see that the Caixin index is 52.5 for the civil sector, and the data from the National Bureau of Statistics at 51.0. So in terms of comparison with the previous few months, it is, even though you say there is a moderate decline for the Caixin index, it's almost the highest level since August last month. But if we do the comparison with the same time last year, and with the data of the pre-pandemic level, we see it is actually a relatively low reading, because for the last year, the data is 55.6, and for the pre-pandemic level, it's even higher. And that's also kind of intuitive, because this is the month of the Spring Festival. So it is likely that the service sector will have a good performance. And specifically regarding the sector performance, as you mentioned, it is the holiday-related sectors outperforming, such as the retail sales, public transport, and resorts and dining are performing moderately, while the financial services and the recreation sector outperform. But in terms of the overall economic performance, I think even though we have seen some good signs, I think it's still showing a relatively fragile service sector.
Yeah, and very quickly, what are the observed trends in service sector growth before and after the Spring Festival, as well as consumption patterns?
So basically, that's exactly what I mentioned. It's a relatively stable performance in terms of consumption from both the data of the National Bureau of Statistics and the Caixin index. It's almost like a slight jump or down by within 1%. By within 1%.
All right, thank you so much for your insights. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. Professor Shi Fanqi, Assistant Professor of the School of Economics at Peking University, for us. And that will do it for this edition of Global Business. I'm Xia Vandenberg in Beijing. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.